will not be wearing that mask the entire video. I was just doing that for the intro, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was pretty hilarious. So, was Batman a bad movie? That is the title of this, and we will be explaining the ending of a villain that has just got teased for us, and it has shocked the entire DC community and superhero fans in general. But let's start off with, is Batman a bad movie? Now, this is obviously my own opinion and my own feelings towards what I do think about the movie. You guys are entitled to your own opinion, and actually leave a comment down below on if you think the Batman movie was a bad movie, if you have already seen it already. If you already haven't, please go check that out. 3-hour movie, a lot of details in that and a lot of paying attention to. So we have Robert Pattinson now taking on the role of Batman. And I'll say, for a Batman movie like this, he was more Batman than he was Bruce Wayne. So obviously the movie is called The Batman, it's not called The Batman with Bruce Wayne. And I actually like that. I actually like that we got to see more of Batman and less of Bruce Wayne, if that actually makes sense. We got to see a lot of action in the 3 hours that were in that movie, and the fighting was really good. You got to think about it like this. Technically speaking, Batman is a human at peak form. His fighting is not going to be that perfect because he's still a human at the end of the day. Obviously at the top tier level of humans, but with a movie like this, he still kind of showed that his flaws as a human are still there, but he's not your average bear kind of guy. He didn't have like awesome like technique fighting styles that were just immaculate where you're just like, this guy is completely from another earth. You know, he still showed signs that, you know, there's still flaws that he has, because at the end of the day he's a human but just at peak form, and I'm glad they got to show that. As far as the very seldom times that he was playing Bruce Wayne, he still did the role pretty good. Obviously he's playing a younger Bruce Wayne, and then when you see other guys taking on the character and stuff like that, you know, they're obviously much older, so they kind of give like a more mature like feel to it, because, you know, they're all like old and shit, you know. But for this guy, you know, I kind of like that, you know, he's a little bit younger, so he's kind of got like this different type of vibe to him. Batman's always a mysterious guy in a way, but with him, he kind of like added to the more mysterious part of who Bruce Wayne / Batman is. For the other guys, they kind of really rocked more of the billionaire philanthropist side of the character, rather than being mysterious on how like the character really is. But how was the movie in general? The movie in general was very good pacing. Obviously it's 3 hours, so they're cramming in a lot of freaking details in there, but the details weren't really that overwhelming. It was a pretty easy story to follow. Obviously, you know, you have to have good attention span because you're going to be sitting there for literally 3 hours. But they introduced a lot of other characters. They introduced Falcone. While this video is being recorded, I'm actually going to go see it again and do another video on this, so I'll have more knowledge on that. But with the characters that they did actually add that weren't in the original trailer, didn't seem like they forced them in there. It seems like they put them in there at the right time and used them to where it made sense on why they were involved. It wasn't like they wanted to throw them in there to be like, hey guys, we know that, you know, this is a character in DC and we want you to know that we know that, so here you go, this is the character. No, like when they introduced the other characters that were involved in this movie, they kind of really took the time to say, this is why this character is involved, this is why this makes sense, and like all the dots connect to where you get the picture. That person that I'm talking about, to where they added him in to make it make sense, is Falcone. The guy who played Penguin, I forgot his freaking name and I'm so sorry. He actually played the role really well, and he actually ended up being a pretty likable guy playing the character. Along with Catwoman as well, played by Zoe. You know, she's so fine. She actually played the role really well, and it didn't seem like she was really forcing the character upon herself. It didn't seem too cringy like the Catwoman from freaking the early 2000s was. It seemed like she really fit the role well, and she fucking nailed it. She nailed it. Kind of gave like Batman that misleading, like kind of lead you on and seemed like I'm manipulating you, but it's still like I'm on your side, but at the same time you think I'm a villain, like kind of like how Catwoman really is. I explained this in like a theory that I did have of what the Batman could be about, where like she's 50-50. She's really wishy-washy with Batman. She's like, I'll help you out, but like at the same time, like you really can't tell me what to do. So at the snap of my fingers, I can just completely betrayed. But obviously they actually end up working together in some way. Still a little wishy-washy relationship. There are points and times in the movies where you're just like, hold on, is she about to double cross him? I knew it. But then you see like, oh, okay, well, the relationship still kind of stays the same throughout the duration of the movie. Her playing that freaking nailed it. If I were to actually rate this movie, if I were to have my own Rotten Tomatoes score, let's say the director tomato score, whatever you want to call it or whatever, I'd probably get it like an 85% out of 100. Very good movie, very good pacing. Yes, it was 3 hours long, but the pacing in it was good. For movies that are 3 hours long, the pacing is usually more times than not very slow pace, and then it ends up becoming boring, and then you actually end up getting taken out of the movie and you're just not paying attention to certain details because the movie's just so freaking long. With the Batman movie, you kind of really don't have that problem. Very entertaining from minute one all the way to the very end. And speaking of the end, this is actually a good transition into the next thing that we're going to talk about. Boom, cut the lights, Shiny. The Joker was teased. I know that you guys saw this at the very end when Riddler was locked up in Arkham Asylum. The inmate standing right across, well, I think he was sitting most likely, was none other than Joker himself. But this wasn't a Joker that we know. This is somebody else playing the role of Joker. I wonder who it could be. They showed the silhouette, they obviously showed the smile a little bit, and they showed the crazy hair that he had. So it was very hard to make out who is playing the Joker, but they still made it obvious that the character that was in the other cell right across from Riddler when they were both in Arkham Asylum was Joker. And honestly, I was hella excited because I want to see what they're gonna do. I want to see, you know, what they're going to bring to the table with this new Joker that they have. Obviously, I didn't have any expectations of Jared Leto coming back and playing Joker because he's obviously going to be in Morbius. No intentions of Joaquin Phoenix Joker meeting this Batman. I have a video coming out if Joaquin Phoenix Joker will ever meet Batman. When I say meet Batman, this doesn't mean this Batman, this just means meet Batman in general. Aside from that, I'm really excited on what they're gonna do with it. So I have a little bit of a theory, but I don't want to spoil that yet. I'll get more into detail on another video coming up on why I think Riddler and Joker will be working together in possibly the second installment of the Batman. But this was my review. Basically, I gave it an 8 out of 10, which was an 85% out of 100. Movie was good. Robert Pattinson killed the role. Zoe killed the role of Catwoman. Everybody did their part, and it ended up being a really great movie. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't watched my last one, which was the Uncharted review, go check that out. If you haven't watched my one before that, which was my theory before the Batman movie came out on what I think could have happened, go check that out and see how accurate I probably was on my theory. Other than that, hit the subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and stay tuned for the next video.